Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, lower bail set for man facing new sexual assault charges. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Amy Cavino.
Back in the day, Bell-Tates knew that if we provided quality products and honest service, customers would come back again and again. Have things changed? Sure. But what hasn't is Bell-Tates' commitment to giving you a fair price and friendly service. Visit us at belltates.com.
Good afternoon to you, Siobhan. Yeah, back in April, bail for Earl Schaefer was set at $20,000 cash only. Today, here in Superior Court, prosecutors said their charges and case against Earl Schaefer is actually growing, but bail today was reduced to $10,000 cash only. Earl Schaefer's lengthy criminal history is in multiple states, laid out in Superior Court this morning, and vigorously contested by his public defender, Carolyn Smith. Prosecutors describe Schaefer as an extreme danger to the community and a flight risk, citing 3 victims from Wolfboro and Tuftonboro and 5 counts now of aggravated sexual assault in the span of 30 days. And prosecutors say he currently has open warrants out of the state of Pennsylvania. The public defender describes Schaefer as part of a vulnerable population for whom finding a job is hard and housing is a struggle, but assured the judge that if bail were reduced to surety, he does have a place to stay.
There are charges, I think, that they alluded to that had been dropped or dismissed by the prosecution, that he was found not guilty on.
This is a very dangerous man who's in extreme risk of flight. If he's willing to run on misdemeanor warrants where he was being held on 5,000 cash and 1,000 cash, we can't be assured he wouldn't run on a felony charge, especially when he has no roots.
The judge reminded the court that her job was to determine flight risk and danger to the community. With that, she set bail at what the state recommended today, which was $10,000 cash only. Again, that's $10,000 lower than what it was set at back in April. We're live in Ossipee this noon. Amy Cavino, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Hundreds in Boston protest family separation policy. Let's take a listen to the video from WCVB Boston.
Escape completely in South County, Rhode Island. Relax on 20 public beaches, perfect your golf swing, savor coastal cuisine, or hike miles of nature preserves. Request a free Southern Rhode Island vacation guide, 800-548-4662, or southcountyri.com.
All the legislatures, representatives, and senators, come up to the front, please, who are here with our cause, who are here that are going to... make sure that the leadership of the committee
Okay, that is some raw video earlier today of that protest. Hundreds of people rallied Wednesday in Boston to demand state and federal action to protect immigrant families being separated at the southwest border. The ACLU of Massachusetts, along with other advocates, gathered at the State House to urge state lawmakers to pass basic protections for immigrants in Massachusetts. The group called on the federal government to cuss its current zero-tolerance policy that separates families at the border. The rally builds on statewide efforts to encourage lawmakers to substantial Massachusetts law enforcement from ICE, the ACLU, said. With just a few days left in negotiations over the state budget, Ritual believes that one final rally was the best way to send lawmakers a message. Advocates are calling for basic protections. Policy should not ask people about their immigrant status, which undermines public safety. Sheriffs should not seek to deport their staff as ICE agents on our state's tax dollars. And people in local custody should be informed about their due process rights when dealing with ICE. President Donald Trump's administration recently put into place a zero-tolerance policy, which all unfull law border crossings are referred for protection, a process that moves adults to custody of the U.S. Marshal Service and sends many children to facilities run by the Department of Health and Human Services. Under the Obama administration, such families were usually referred for civil deportation proceedings, not requiring separation. The policy had led to a spike in family separation in recent weeks, with more than 2,300 minors were separated from their families at the border on May 5th through June 9th, according to the Department of Homeland Security. Meanwhile, Trump held a meeting on immigration where he told reporters he would be signing something before he signed an executive order Wednesday afternoon, which states families detained at the border should not be separated. The order also states families could be separated if Homeland Security officials determine detention of a child with their parents would pose a risk to the child's welfare. Homeland Security Secretary Jen Nelson has drafted an executive action for President Donald Trump that would direct her department to keep families together after they are detained crossing the border illegally, the Associated Press reported. The effort would mark a dramatic departure for the administration that has been inciting wrongly that it has no choice but separate families apprehended at the border because of law and court decision. Nelson, the president, and other officials have repeatedly said only way to end the practice is for Congress to pass new legislation through. Both Democrats and some Republicans have said the president could reverse it with a simple phone call. The news in recent days has been dominated by sharing images of children held in cages at the border facility, as well as audio recordings of young children crying for their parents. One of the people family with Nielsen thinking said she believes there is no certainty that Congress will act to fix the separation issue. Asked about the possibility of an executive order on immigration, White House spokeswoman Sarah Huckabee Sanders told reporters, "We'll keep you posted when we have an announcement to make. We'll make it." Trump had tweeted earlier Wednesday that he was working on something. Homeland Security officials did not immediately respond to requests for comments. Governor LePage approves request to deploy National Guard to southern border. Maine Republican governor has okayed a federal request to send a National Guard helicopter with 2 pilots to the U.S.-Mexico border. Governor Paul LePage's office said the team will support Custom and Border Patrol in Arizona from July through September. LePage's office said Maine will fly the helicopter, but won't be involved in law enforcement activities. Since 2006, Maine has sent 389 service members to the border. Multiple East Coast governors criticizing the separation of children from families at the border announced they won't deploy National Guard resources near the U.S.-Mexico border. Trump signed an executive order Wednesday to end the practice. Democrat governor in Connecticut, Delaware, and Rhode Island indicated their refusal to send troops. Republican governors in Maryland and Massachusetts refused steps to station resources at the border. And now let's take a look at your U.S. stock market and see how your U.S. stock market closed for this Wednesday evening. And here's a look at that U.S. stock market for all of you this evening. NASDAQ posts record close as Facebook and Netflix rise to all-time highs. NASDAQ and S&P 500 closed higher on Wednesday, boosted by deal-making activity and potentially improving trade relations between the U.S. and European Union. Trump signs executive order he says will keep immigrant families together. President Donald Trump under growing pressure to act unilaterally to address the immigration crisis Wednesday signed an executive order that he said would keep immigrant families at the border together. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Wednesday evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow with another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Good night, everyone. Bye.